Relationship goals are bullshit. Here is what no one has ever told you before. The key to relationship goals that you see on social media is storytelling. It's a marketing front to show you the good things about relationships, but no one ever questions to see what lies when you open the door into the relationship. I'm not saying you should go and start looking into people's relationship like some sort of detective. What I'm saying is, to the eyes of the beholder, you have to be careful if you look to mimic people's relationship and the way you go about defining your own relationship. That is to say, the people who control the narrative are the people who are in the relationship. And I can go as far as say that the people in a relationship sometimes do not have an understanding, or what they show you as is not what happens behind closed doors. Think about it. Who in their right mind will show you the insides of a failed relationship? Just give you a second to think about that. Why I say that is there's been this trend for a long time. I know right now it's not as popular as before, but people used to look for advice from celebrities, from how they are in their relationship, to see how they can be in their own relationship. And most times, what they say or they call relationship goals is not what you should be striving for. Some of the best relationships I've seen happens behind closed doors and are not subjected to public scrutiny for everyone to see. I'm not saying that public relationships are wrong. I'm not saying that all relationships that you see out there that are working are indeed not working. What I'm saying is, take everything with a grain of salt. Figure out the why. Why? Because once you figure out the why, you question things. Once you know the why, then you can know the how. I hope that made sense, because up here it did. For relationships, you have to, first of all, figure out who you are. Once you figure out who you are, then you know what you want. And most people go into relationships without knowing who they are or without knowing what they want. And there's been this thing where you meet someone today, you all hit it off, then you all start talking for about 2 days, then bam, you all are in a relationship 1 week in, and all you know is this visage. I don't know if that's a word, but it makes sense. This image of the person that they tell you to be, when you haven't breached that barrier of trust, when they cannot emotionally be comfortable with you, and also sexual trust, when they cannot trust you with their sexual desires. Shout out to Steve Edin for that. That's where I heard that. And they go in head on, full gear into this short-lived situation that they call relationships, when they know nothing about each other, when they haven't showed each other how to treat themselves. For instance, if I'm going into a relationship, then it means I know who I am, I love myself, I know what I want. And the person that's coming in to have a relationship with me, or the person that I invite into my life, I am going to train that person on how to add to my life, which is already full. Think about that again. So that person is coming to my life, and I'm teaching that person how to live with me, because I am not changing who I am for that person. That person has to accept me for who I am and learn to live with me. Because, why change who I am to be with someone? And what if that someone is no longer with me? Do I have to go back to default settings, or what do I have to do if that person no longer wants to be there? So figure out who you are, love yourself, and once you have those two ingredients, then you know what you want. And what you want should not be defined by what you see in public. What you want should be defined by what you see for yourself as working for you. And go for it, man. Just go for it. Do it. I don't know what I'm telling you to do, but go figure out who you are before you think of entering relationships, and then keep the emotions aside. Because emotions, if you are leading your life by emotions, then you're going to have a lot of serious toxic relationships that is brought about by manipulation, because you cannot live in a relationship that you don't know who you are. And once you don't know who you are, you're going to try to create this other version of you that has never existed. And the more you create that person, the more you try to be that person, which is not you. And the more you try to live that life. And the thing is, time is not a factor that you should play with, because imagine you are in a relationship with someone for 2 months, and then you realize that that person is not the one for you, or not the right person to be in a relationship with. That is 2 months of your life that has gone, that you can never get back. So, in essence, know yourself, love yourself, you figure out what you want, and you save time.